everyone, and welcome back to Game 1 of the Grand Finals. Thank you so much for your patience today. We had a very long games, over 70 minutes, delaying the overall tournament itself, but of course the players have completed those matches and pushed on forward to the finals. Hercules and Tyr are gone. Mercury will also not make it through, and the question is, who will be the final ban?
I'm going to get Jean-Qui, because the day that Jean-Qui gets into a game... Oh, not Jean-Qui, Kronos. They'd rather not deal with Kronos, and that... Yep. That's what happens if you don't ban Jean-Qui. That is the correct response to Jean-Qui not being banned. But now you have your choice of Athena and Sobek, so... You could grab yourself a nice support tank, or they can get Angelus the Athena jungle again, to see if he does just as much destruction as last game.
Well, I mean, was it 21-2 towards the end? I mean, that really was a fantastic play by Athena. I mean, it's something that was too hard to play with. And at the same time, Athena's just a great pickup no matter what. Whether you take her in the jungle, you take her in the support tank role, the guardian role, or even in the solo lane, she does very well. She's a powerful character with a lot that can be brought to the table. That taunt is probably the most unique CC that we have in Smite currently, and definitely something that's very powerful and overall, heavily utilized. So no matter what you do, if you pick up Athena and Agni in one go, you can't really be too upset about that kind of grab. They're going to Neith here, and they have one more pick to select in 15 seconds. They will grab that one up. Bakasura and Poseidon being picked up yet again across the way. Bacchus is going to be picked up, which means Athena is going to be jungling. And the question is, can Team Eddard shut down the power that is Angelus on Athena?
Well, they got a pretty powerful team lineup here with Jean-Qui and Sobek. Both very strong picks. Poseidon for the mid lane, Poseidon Agni mid lane, the mid lane of forever. That seems to happen most games when a mid laner doesn't get banned out. They've got a very powerful lineup. They have a lot of kill potential. Sobek's just got such a great initiation, and with the crippling whirlpool of Poseidon, and then the stun that on her lays now it is Impale, as well as the cripple from Bakasura, anyone that gets grabbed by Sobek can very easily be locked in place and bursted down with the massive amounts of damage they're going to be bringing in. Not to mention, of course, Jean-Qui standing there, being the ultimate of team fight. I mean, press forward, stand in the general area. You're winning team fights with Jean-Qui. Meanwhile, of course, we've got this Athena planetary destruction force we've seen come through before. We've already seen the Agni and Bacchus work with her, and how well they were able to make that work. So, it's going to be interesting. Kali going in as a last pick for their solo lane. That's going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, it absolutely will. I mean, Kali in the solo lane, and then of course we're going to have Agni in the mid lane, Athena in the jungle, Neith, and then Bacchus going into the long lanes of Kali, having a gank there for Athena. I mean, really, Kali can't provide much in the way of securing the kill, but Kali brings damage, which really, Athena coming out with a shield wall, confound combination, all she really needs is damage. Maybe one more CC after that, so I don't know how much she's going to focus on that lane that Kali is going to be in, but of course Agni gank, pretty powerful, and of course we've seen Bacchus and Neith work quite well on top of that. Jean-Qui being picked up by Snoopy, so going to the solo lane, it's going to be a Kali versus Jean-Qui matchup, which since Kali is more about the pushing than she is about, push and more about the harassment as well, Jean-Qui can counter that pretty easily, so I don't think Jean-Qui is going to have a hard time playing up against the Kali. Bakasura, likewise, going into the jungle, they're going to be facing up against the Athena. Not really an easy matchup for the Bakasura, although Athena taunt during the Bakasura ultimate is not really what Athena wants. It's going to help the Bakasura more than anything else, of course, forcing him to attack you. He's going to do that anyway. So Poseidon actually going to be picked up here, going to the mid lane up against that Agni, like you mentioned, an old matchup to boot on her, being picked up and laning up with Sobek. But that's going to be the final matchup for both these teams, guys. You are sitting in Game 1 of the Grand Finals between Team Eddard and Team Sansa, and we're going to cut to a brief break and bring the matchup on screen when it's ready to go. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and we'll be right back. Hey! Everyone, and welcome to Game 1 of the Grand Finals. We're watching it up against Sansa here in this best of 3 matchup, Game 1 here. See if we can win the first match and set the pace for the rest of the series. We're going to see Eddard, the blue team, the bottom side of the map's cover, who's playing what and where they're going. Smackster on Boxer in the jungle. Snoopy, Jean-Qui solo. Hippity Hoppy Poseidon's on his way. Heartless Guy playing Poseidon in the mid lane. Mr. Prodigy V there on her in the left side lane, supported by Tenno Muffler on Sobek across the way. Sansa, the red team, and Jealous Mori there on Athena in the jungle yet again. Sir Bale on Kali playing the solo lane. Toast and Bacchus in the Guardian role, supporting his Hunter, Mr. MKJNS on Neath, and of course Agni Hoot in the mid lane with a Doom Orb.
Gonna see Khalees solo. I love Khalees solo. It's been too long. It's been too long since we've had the Khalees solo. However, starting out with a Heartseeker might be the most courageous thing I've ever seen come out of a solo Khalees that's going up against a Zhong Kui. That's an incredibly manly move. That's an incredibly manly move. I'd love to see how that plays out for him. But we have Sansa looking for an opportunity to do some starting the same as they did last game, but actually not really committing to the invade. Looks like they're going to stay back and just get this mid camp, but Eddard's committed to their invade, and they're taking this brouhaha.
Yeah, they're going to get that brouhaha over there. Zhong Kui lead the Lodal will pick that up, as well as Poseidon lead the Lodal and Bacchus lead the Lodal. Coming over here to the movement speed buff. They're going to have the blue buff, then go right into the movement speed buff. Back to over there, we have a movement speed engagement here as Kali and Neath come on over. Looks like they did actually steal away the movement speed buff, and they're going to run over the wall and just be fine with that engagement. Looking at the charts, we're going to see 130 gold, 635 experience in favor of Sansa thus far, as we see 3 players still grouping up to do the Furies here in the middle lane. Very strange, the mid tower just railing into these minions. In fact, Poseidon missed a lot of those minions and a lot of gold as well on his path across the map. Hoot taking a lot of gold experience on top of that. You see Poseidon at 1780 versus the Agni, who's sitting right now at 1760. So Poseidon, even though he missed a lot of experience in mid lane, ended up picking up a lot as this minion wave does clear out. We'll see if it does pull him pretty far ahead. I'm going to lose some gold on these minions as the tower does take damage. Right side, Zhong Kui pushing up against that Kali towards his tower. See if he can't grab something up there. That tower going to take a lot of harassment here. Sobek and on her, going to do the blue buff across the way. And right now, a minute and a half of the game, we have yet to see any major engagement besides the movement speed attempt from Sansa. They got the movement speed buff, and then they just backed off.
Well, this solo lane's going to be a really difficult time for Kali up until she gets to the point where pressing 2 is pretty much wave clear, which will come relatively soon, but until then, trying to outpush Zhong Kui, you're going to have a bad time. That's incredibly, incredibly safe wave clear on Zhong. And not to mention, he is getting tons of healing while he's doing it, just from the exposed demons. Athena and Bacchus are showing up at this mid camp here. Athena just hogging it instantly, not giving Bacca a chance to really make any plays or try to steal.
Backflip coming out here from the Neath. There goes the Spirit Arrow, Broken Weave combination, rooting both the Wave and Sobek here in the left side lane. The word coming down from Sobek, make sure they have a vision. Bacchus making his way over. He's just kind of wandering through the jungle, drunk, through the night, looking for a place to sleep, or possibly just to pee. He really has to pee. That's why he goes home to the well so often. Poseidon in the mid lane, level 5 right now, has the Kraken available as Agni and Athena kind of group up here. The shield wall will throw the minions up into the sky, and the flames will greet them as they fall back down to the earth. On the right side, we see the Kali up against the Zhong Kui. Kali actually getting a lot of healing out of that Blood Rage activation there, forcing it back towards the tower. Poseidon and Bacchus are going to get this right side camp in the middle lane. And actually the Vision is pretty strong coming out from Sansa. One towards the mid camp, one in front of the Gold Fury, and one behind the Gold Fury, and a very linear axis here. And looks like we still have yet to see any major aggression coming out from any of these lanes.
Very interesting. It looks like Khalid might honestly be leveling up Siphon Blood first. The ultimate is coming out from Snoopy here as he goes ham. Khalid ult in response, but is taking a lot of damage. Zhong Kui's card is on Khalid. It's not going to be quite enough to finish her off, but she is very low, and of course she is going to have to go home after that one. Zhong Kui actually taking a lot of harassment, dropping down to about a third HP, but still perfectly fine to keep on in lane just because his sustain is so very, very strong, and he's going to heal right back up off the exposed demons on the minion waves.
Bacchus are going to greet up here in the mid lane with Athena and Agni and Poseidon as well. Poseidon level 7 right now versus level 6. Agni's going to jump over the wall and grab this camp. Of course, the right side camp might be picked up as well. Athena kind of grouping up on that side ward being placed down. Looks like those are going to be a little bit disjoint respawns at this point. Poseidon going to push up the mid lane with a Whirlpool Tidal Surge combination coming up pretty soon here. Athena is available. Meteor coming down, not going to land on the Heartless Guy. Athena looks like she might want to do something here. Has yet to try to accomplish that just yet. Zhong Kui as well as the Kali going up against each other yet again. The stun coming out on top of the Collie, forcing her back a bit, but it looks like she has a good enough push here. And like you mentioned, it seems like she's maxing out her 3 just to get that heal out, because that was a very large heal that she received from it. Level 5, Sobek level 5 on her, I guess level 4, Bacchus level 5 Neath. So it seems like left lane is getting pretty farmed here for Team Eddard.
Yeah, they're definitely doing a good job of trying to push back up, keep the enemy team the tower, and deny as much gold as they can. Khaleesi's going in. I mean, I'm pretty sure she is, because her Blood Lash is not doing very much damage. It's not even clearing the range minions yet, which is not even doing half their health, which at level 6, I would imagine maxing Blood Lash. I'm pretty sure that's about when you start to just dunk ranged minions with that, maybe 1 auto afterward. But I'm pretty sure just for the sustain, she's trying to hold out as long as she can, which is probably not a bad call, considering Zhang's got so much healing and so much sustain available with such easy wave clear. The only way she's going to be able to stand up against him is if she can sustain just as hard and stand up to the poke damage he's going to be putting out.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, is that, you know, you have a lot of healing, a lot of harassment, a lot of poke, a lot of push coming out from Zhang Kui as well as the Collie. It's a surprisingly even matchup right now. There goes the card coming out from the Zhang Kui, forcing her back away from that engagement. We see the Athena kind of grip up the blue buff as well. Checking in the charts, we're going to see a 1,000 gold lead and a 900 experience lead here for Eddard, but getting slower towards the center mark as you see the kind of the buff camps being picked up on both sides, the blue buff as well as the blue buff on both sides, actually left side and right side blue buffs getting picked up there by Sansa, and no camps being up just yet as Honor goes over to do the blue buff by himself. Sobek on his way over to assist. Athena, left side of the middle lane, picking up that camp away from the toes and the fingers. I guess he doesn't really have fingers, it's more like blade hands coming up. Taking it out of his hands there in the mid lane. No hands?
No hands. Scissor hands.
Scissor hands?
Scissor hands. Scissor hands.
He could clamp him like a praying mantis.
Exactly. I'm doing praying mantis hands. I like praying mantis hands.
Yeah?
But we're here, 6 minutes into the game. Nobody's picked up first blood yet. Everyone's being relatively cautious. No one's trying to take any unnecessary risks. Poseidon right now was looking for a rotation on right lane, but he finds Athena, who sniffed him out leaving his lane there, making sure he's not going to be able to actually rotate and make anything happen. While Neath and On her trying kind of trade in the left lane. Spirit Arrow was a whiff, so no real damage can be going down. Everyone's being very conservative. This is the finals. This is where the magic happens. This is where the decent amount of gems are on the line. Nobody wants to get caught out here. Snoopy going in doesn't land the 3, but knocks Kali down to about half health with the 1-2 combo. So a lot of poke damage going to force her home, but again, no one taking any risks and no first blood.
Yeah, again, very kind of cautious here. I mean, obviously this is the grand finals here. It's a best of 3 series. No reason to rush yourself and kind of get caught out or fall behind in the beginning stages. So something that you have to really take into account when you're playing the first matchup here. I mean, there has been so many times where a team loses the first match and they come into game 2, they're demoralized, they're exhausted, and then of course the momentum shifts so much they can't keep up with it. Neath actually throwing out a lot of damage there on the Honor across the way. The Broken Weave is on the ground. She's going to go ahead and back off and kind of just wait. If they want to push forward, she's got the Broken Weave. She could throw a Spirit Arrow right at and root them all in place. Bacchus coming out there. It was the ultimate, the Butcher Blades coming out first, and then the ultimate, so no cripple land there. Then still has the ultimate activation. Pale comes out. Desert Fury coming out as well. The backflip over the corner of the wall. Athena ultimate will come out here. The taunt will definitely keep her safe at this point. Sobek coming through. Neath's going to recognize the threat and back off. She's backpinning a little too much though. Sobek almost able to get the ultimate there as we see initiation come out. The Intoxicate as well as the assistance from the Athena will be enough to finish off the Honor. In the meantime, Agni catches the Poseidon, who attempts to rotate to assist the left side lane. Great presence of mind coming out from Hoot on Agni there, realizing that he can either go help the left fight or wait for Poseidon to attempt to help it and catch him in transition.
The first blood and second blood going out to Sansa there with Hoot catching that Poseidon, and then On her just getting nuked down by that Intoxicate from Bacchus. So, although the early farm advantage looked like it was in favor of Team Eddard, and admittedly Eddard still has a very minor lead. The gold lead doesn't exist right now. And a minor experience lead has shifted toward Team Sansa. But over here in right lane, Zhang Kui going in on Kali. Is this last ghost going to do it? Yes, it is! That last ghost, that last little purple ghost, just enough damage to finish off Kali after she thought she'd run to safety. Here comes the Neath ultimate flying across the planet. But that's not going to be enough for Zhang. Zhang's just going to go home.
The heal came out just in time. Didn't want to risk that out, of course, with the Neath down and finished up the Warrior Toppy. It may have been enough. It may not have. It would have been very close, down to a single, a little bit of damage there. Anywhere from 10 to 30 damage would be the difference. But of course, he's just going to heal himself right back up with his activation. and be able to Phoebe just fine right now. So we're going to see Neith backflip away, and Obelisk goes down on the ground, just gets some slow off. The Spear Arrow not going to land on her, landing all his basic attacks, just absolutely shredding the HP. Desert Fury comes out, but he misses. Actually, he misses all but one or two of his spears. Throws out the Impale. The tower shot's not going to come out. Neith has no ultimate to shut him down here as he throws out the Obelisk, lands into the sands, and Ramble's not going to be in range. She's healed back up to this point, and on her, just could not do the paintbrush technique long enough and misses almost all the spears of his ultimate, not able to get the kill there on the Neith right side. Athena ultimate, Bacchus waiting long. Bacchus waiting way too long. What is Bacchus doing right now? That could have been possibly a kill. Zhang Kuei had no ultimate, but Bacchus was just sitting in the jungle watching it happen until it was too late.
Bacchus just hanging out, having a drink, being Bacchus. I am not sure what that was. I don't know if that was just a miscommunication or if he might have had like some sort of computer issue that went on there, but Bacchus just stood by and watched as Zhang Kuei just walked on past to safety in the tower. So whatever the reason there, definitely a missed opportunity that could potentially have been a kill. On her jumping in to get the stolen blue buff from Team Sansa they've been able to acquire. Bakasura just roaming through the enemy jungle right now while Poseidon gets cut out by Agni. The Meteor's landed for a lot of damage, but he's going to slip away totally fine here. Baka is going to find himself up against Athena and Poseidon. He's going to jump away and just do the mid-cabs and then continue on with his life.
Poseidon making his way back towards his middle lane with his resplendent legendary skin. Still going to dash away from that stun there. Honor's going to find Bacchus here. Going to jump right on over that belly flop in response. He's going to burp on him. Impale's going to miss as well. So everything from on her just completely missed. And Bacchus just takes a swig and goes back to his lane, just not even aware of what's going on in his life right now. In mid lane, we see the Sobek kind of taking place for the Poseidon, a bit of a placeholder for the time being, make sure that lane doesn't get pushed up too far. Of course, Sobek does have that Hand of the Gods if entirely necessary. Looks like he might have it. He's kind of grouping up, just eating it so the tower doesn't take any gold away. Poseidon's on his way back. What a good guy Bacchus is. Just come in the mid lane, letting the golden experience go to him, the majority of it anyways, because he got the last hits on those. And just make sure the tower doesn't get any damage and no minions are lost in gold or effectiveness. So good pickup there, good support play. Doomwarp now finished on Snoopy Man. There's Zhang Kuei on the right side of the lane. Heartseeker not being picked up actually he's getting picked up on her, not on the Bakasura, but definitely on the Kali. Kali started with the Heartseeker. So we have a Heartseeker versus Doomwarp matchup in the right side lane here. So whoever starts to fall behind or gets ganked by the junglers will have to have this big gap between them.
It's going to be a big problem if someone gets ganked, and it looks like this might be happening pretty soon. As a lot of damage, Zhang Kuei's ultimate coming out. Here comes the tower dive, and this Kali is certainly going to fall to those angry ghosts. Bakasura, meanwhile, in left lane getting taken down. The fight continues in front of Gold Fury. Sobek rooted, taking a lot of damage. Desert Fury comes out trying to finish Agni. He dashes away from the Impale Spear as it's in the air, managing to survive. Poseidon puts his Whirlpool down. The Obelisk is going to force a disengage there and let him get away. It's going to be a one-for-one trade as Kali falls in trade for Bakasura, but Kali's Heartseeker going down. Bakasura not losing any stacking items.
On her left side lane, going to push this up here again. And Bakasura, no Heartseeker for him. Going to go for the Hasten Fatalis, make sure he doesn't lose any movement speed while he's attacking somebody. Agni's going to pick up his Shoes of Focus and into Voidstone 2 after finishing off that Doomwarp. He's going to be the most farmed on his team, but pales in comparison to the 6,500 gold farmed by the Zhang Kuei in the solo lane. We have an engagement here in front of the Furies in the mid lane there as Angelus on Athena forced to disengage from that one. Very slim margin of escaping, kind of a little bit too far forward, caught out there in that situation. Flame Wave coming out from the Agni, throwing out a meter, trying to harass down the Poseidon. Going to be able to do so for the time being. But of course, after that kill on Kali in the right lane, while that team fight was going down, Zhang Kuei kills out the Kali, takes the tier 1 tower. That's going to make it 2,200 gold in favor of Eddard, as well as 1,000 experience overall. You see the gold graph is pretty clearly in favor of Eddard pretty much the entire game versus the experience graph, which kind of wiggles up and down, and it's been pretty similar as far as the overall experience gained by both teams, but that gold is definitely something that's going to pay out for Eddard in small amounts, but definitely something that's noticeable.
I think experience gain is just something that's a lot more difficult to hang on to. Gold swings back and forth, but one or two little minor scuffles is not going to win you a big experience advantage. So it's definitely understandable that at this point, that's still a back and forth. Because this game has been relatively even trade so far. Eddard's been coming out a little bit on the better end of things. Now it looks like Zhang Kuei has rotated over to left lane to do stuff. Not positive what exactly he was going for there. But Neith and Bacchus knew about it, and they just fell back to the tower thanks to their ward. Agni sees as well, thanks to ward vision. He's going to dash away to his tower and make sure he does not get cut off. And Zhang is just going to take the long walk back to lane. Kali almost managed to take out the Bakasura in lane. Actually, okay. I have no idea why Baka walked back into that. I guess Bakasura underestimated the damage that Kali's Bloodlash does. Kali's Bloodlash hurts a lot. I have no idea why Baka walked back into that, but that's what happens.
You know, I mean, it's one of those things where Kali just says, thank you, and walks away from that, immediately turning away. Of course, the Frenzy was not enough to finish off the Bakasura there, getting caught out just a bit, forced to jump away, decided, hey, I'm going to try. Maybe his thought process was, I'm going to eat a minion and get my health back up and go back into the jungle instead of having to go home. But, of course, exposed himself to the Bloodlash from the Kali, and we all know what happened after that. Just proved to be too difficult for him. Mid lane getting pushed up here by the Poseidon Sobek combination. Agni hanging on, throws out the Flame Wave, going to push this lane back away from his tower. And that will be enough to push it towards the enemy tower here. Kali taking the flank here from the right side of the Poseidon. Might not be able to do anything here, as of course Poseidon's pretty close to his tower. Bakasura farming the jungle. Good ward vision coming out from both teams, surprisingly enough. We actually have defensive wards coming out here from Eddard. I guess they're expecting kind of invasions or something. It's pretty much on their side of the map is where the wards are. Jumping over the wall is going to be this Bakasura. Going to grab that up. Path of Flames as well, and some harassment coming out from the Zhang Kui in the mid lane. Kali pushing up the right lane, might have some time to push that right side tower, but she has some ground to cover before she does so. Bacchus jumping to the left side lane, avoiding it, is going to be on her with that disperse, unable to get that knock up. Of course, Neith was a little bit far away, so it may not have been enough for her to follow up there, but definitely sending a message that I'm here and I will grab you if you're not careful.
I'm here, go home. I don't like you in my lane. Go away. Kali not able to make a whole lot of headway in the time while Zhang Kui was off in roaming land. Still with the only tower down right now, and really no damage on Zhang Kui's tower at all. In fact, the only other tower that's taken any sort of noticeable damage is also Sansa's left lane tower. So Sansa having a lot of issues with push right now. Although, I guess technically Eddard's mid tower is like gently tickled. But that's about all that's happened there. Zhang Kui's going to find Athena in the jungle. He's going to throw a couple auto attacks in. Poseidon's got his back, so he knows if she wants to get close, she's going to be risking exposing herself very hard. And he's helping Poseidon secure this mid camp. He's just doing the job of zoning right now. Bakasura is going to meet up with him, and they might be looking for a gank on this Kali.
See if they can't grab something up. Bakasura kind of jump over the wall here. That will use his escape mechanism as Athena is kind of waiting in the wings behind him. She will spot him out, throws out the dash. Will she go for no? She's going to back off of that one. Mid lane, we have a rotation coming out from the Sobek as well as the All-Hunter towards the Agni. We have Neith and Bacchus farming out the left side lane. And, you know, we're here at the 17-minute mark with a total of 6 kills. I mean, this has been an incredibly passive game thus far. And I think both teams are just trying to play it as safe as they possibly can.
Absolutely, they do not want to make any mistakes here. Charge Prey from Sobek isn't going to find any targets there, and he's just going to get burped on in response by a fat drunk guy. Not something anyone really wants to happen to him. Zhang Kui's going to go home for a minute, which gives Kali an opportunity to try and push her lane up, try and get some farm, try and put at least a little bit of damage on this tower. But while Zhang's gone, she looks like she actually would rather rotate, seeing if she could possibly lay down a gank on this Poseidon as she comes in behind him. But Agni's not here at the moment, and Kali's going to go in by herself against what's going to be a Poseidon and a Bakasura. Bakasura actually gets to go home, and everyone's going to filter in the left lane. We got a big rotation coming in. Sobek ultimate comes on, landing a lot of damage, but Honor is just getting face rolled by the damage from his Agni and Athena. Sobek trying so hard to finish off this Neith. He's trying so very hard, but he's just going to get taken down by this tower as Neith kites around like a champion, and now Poseidon has simply showed up to the wrong party way too late, and he is going to be forced to go home. Kali teleporting back into right lane to defend her tower from Zhang, who was just spending that whole time pushing like crazy, and has her tier 2 already down below half health, but a 3-for-0 trade. 3 kills picked up by Sansa.
Experience now in favor of Sansa there, 1700 experience. The gold still remains in favor of Eddard, 1700 gold overall. The Gold Fury will definitely change this factor and put him up. I'd actually put him a little bit behind, about 200 gold behind once it's all said and done. There you go, 293 gold behind the overall gain there. So, I mean, the gold's going to start to level out a bit as everyone starts pushing up their lanes, get some gold from the jungle and kind of bounces that out. And, of course, they will have the experience lead to lean on for the time being. And, of course, we're heading towards that point of the game where it doesn't matter too much but we're a little bit far off right now. You're going to see level 18 Agni, level 18 Zhang Kui, level 17 Poseidon, level 18 Kali there, but then you still have a 13, 14, and a 12 on Eddard, and a 15, 14, and 11 there on Sansa. So some levels before that saturation mark is hit. Snoopy Man by himself, right side lane. Does he have a way to teleport? He does. He's going to activate it. It's going to be enough damage to finish him off. The taunt comes through, and they actually finish him off, and inside of the Valkyrie circle, Zhang Kui bangs his head at the ground and just realizes, I screwed up, I pushed too far forward, and my teleport can and will be interrupted.
Okay, yeah, I thought he had the other. I thought he had the immune to CC teleport, and I was like, how did the Athena taunt? But no, he doesn't have that one. He has the one that allows him to teleport to wards, and still interrupted by hard crowd control, which taunt is, in fact, hard crowd control. So taunt pulling him out of that, the stun from the Agni Meteor, and they threw everything at him, making sure he wasn't going to get away. He tried. He gave it a good effort. But that's a shutdown on that right lane. That's a shutdown on Zhang Kui's Doom Orb. And that makes Agni now 4-0-1, the most farmed in the lobby with a very fat Doom Orb. And that's going to be a tower for Kali.
Pushing down, hitting level 19 right now, and Kali kind of catching up there in the gold. She's actually tied with Zhang Kui right now, even though she's 2-2-1. 4-0-1 on Agni. Athena boasting 0-0-6. The selfless saint of Athena, just giving away all her kills, but of course giving away no deaths to enemy team, making sure it's all in good prospects. Left lane, Desert Fury comes on out, as well as the Exorcism on top of everything else, popping up the recall demons, get all the ones that he's exercised up until this point, and dropping them right down, keeping on her healthy. And that's going to be a little bit too much for Neath to deal with. A free kill on the left side lane for Eddard, leaving them 8-3 here at the 20-minute and 30-second mark, but the gold and experience advantage is still in favor of Sansa after that botched engagement and the lost gold fury for Eddard.
And they're trying to do what they can with this lead right here, taking towers, trying to push out. But that Zhang Kui on her combo in left lane is going to stop any dreams of them finishing off that tower, or pushing that lane back up and saving that tower, rather, anytime soon. Bacchus is now back alone, trying to defend this. He does not want to lose another tower right now. Because right now, towers are even, but if this tower were to drop, that would give the gold advantage back to Team Eddard. Same situation in mid lane. The mid lane tower is taking a lot of flack right now. I don't even know if Poseidon's going to be able to save this. But Poseidon's dropping him, he doesn't have the abilities to push this with. So the minion wave is just going to take that down while Poseidon's right there. I don't know if he just had everything on a cooldown or just was resigned to, well, this tower's dead, I'm not going to waste any abilities, or what exactly was going on right there. But that's going to hand the gold lead back to Team Eddard.
It certainly will, and it's something that they really kind of start boasting about. I mean, they've had it the entire game, and we had, looks like about a 4-minute streak where they lost it. They got it right back there, especially with the construction or destruction of that tower. 2,000 experience in favor of Sansa, but again, we're getting to that point where it doesn't matter as much anymore, but it still is valuable right now, given the fact that everyone has not maxed out their abilities just yet. Itemization looking towards Bakasura, Hasten Fatalis going right into Executioner for that attack speed, and the ability to keep himself mobile while attacking as long as he's landing attacks. That Hasten Fatalis gives you 1 second immunity to the attack speed slow, or the attack slow in general, I should say, to clarify. That is unavailable as long as you're constantly hitting attacks. Executioner are going to be finished off immediately as he goes on home. Boxer sitting 0-2-0 right now. 3-1-0 there on the Zhang Kui. Breastplate of Valor, Doom Orb, Shoes of Focus, and Void Stone being picked up. Very tanky but bursty build that relies heavily on the stacks of that Doom Orb. Does have that one death. Sobek now hitting saturation here around level 13. Does have Sovereignty finished off and Boots of Midas, so a good cleanup here. It's going to help his gain of gold overall, and certainly it's something he can boast about. 0-1-0. He's 7,900 gold. Versus the 1-0-1 on Bacchus, who is 6,300 gold, so much more farmed, about 1,600 gold over the enemy Guardian, and that's really one of the reasons why Eddard has been able to hold on to that gold lead for so long, is Bacchus just not getting a whole lot. But that definitely puts things into perspective, doesn't it, Squidditch? If the Guardian's the one who's underfarmed, how much does the gold lead really matter right now? As Honor gets jumped on in the left side lane, Neath lands the Spear out, Belch the God's not going to land. The teleport coming out of the ward, though, however, who's going to be? It's going to be Snoopy here, as he jumps right on top of this. It's not going to be Kali this time around. Bacchus gets the Athena ultimate stun coming out from the Agni. The Athena's now in the fight. Zhang Kui has his ultimate. He wants to use it. Each time he be popped by the Honor. He's going to survive the time being as he jumps away. Sobek going to the ultimate. Zhang Kui ultimate pop. Whirlpool, Kraken, burst damage. Hoot is dead. And there goes the kill on the Bacchus as well. Kali comes in, has the Frenzy available if he wants to use that, but might have to use it on tanky characters like Zhang Kui or Sobek, which is not preferable, and there is Neath. Poor little Neath. She's going to backflip away if she possibly can, but the Exorcism will come through and ye shall be saved as Neith falls down there, but so does the Zhang Kui. A good burst coming from the Athena as well. The taunt into the shield wall was just too much. There's the dash coming out, burst damage coming through, Sobek dashes away, but Bakasura is making it happen here. Pops his ultimate, there goes the frenzy coming out. Does he have enough damage? He jumps up and back down to avoid the burst damage. He cancels the frenzy that was a little bit earlier there. I guess he wants to end it there. Athena with the burst damage. How does she keep doing it? Bakasura gets finished off. Will this team fight ever end? Sobek forced away. The taunt comes, not going to land on Poseidon as the tidal surge chases the boot heels, or heels, I should say, of Athena as she gets away from that one. Wow.
Little bit of potentially a misplay there as Athena just aiming her taunt at Sobek and Sobek alone, and missing the Poseidon as Sobek dashed away and just having nothing there. I don't know if she would have been able to finish off the Poseidon, but with the ridiculous burst damage Athena's been laying down whenever we've watched her go, it wouldn't be a big stretch for her to tear down that Poseidon. At the end of the day, a 3-for-2 trade in favor of Eddard, which is going to retain their gold lead for now. But the experience still in favor of Sansa. They almost pulled it back up, and they pulled it up a bit. But Sansa's still got that experience advantage. It's not much, but it's there. And in mid lane, nothing really going to happen with this engagement. Honor just going to jump away. But Bacchus wants to continue. Bacchus is going. There's the Agni stun. They're going in on this Honor right now. Athena ulting it as well. Honor is going to die to Agni. The Athena ultimate comes in, but it's not doing as much damage as Sobek as it once did. Now Zhang Kui dropping his ult to Foes, force them back. The card is on Neith and Agni. Athena just charges in. Athena charges in fearlessly. Here comes the Bacchus landing a triple belt on everybody. Bakasura coming in line with the ultimate. The Poseidon does so much burst damage with his Kraken. Neith goes down. Agni is incredibly low right now. Sansa just forced to fall back after that engagement, but they did take the better end of that with a 1-for-2 trade. That Kraken just landing so much nuke, forcing the end of that fight. Poseidon says, no, we're done.
So enough of that. We're going to cross over to the 26-minute mark right now as they try to gather up themselves. I mean, of course, the gold is completely even now, about 200 in favor of Eddard, 4,000 experience in favor of Sansa. 2 level 20s there on Sansa, 2 level 20s on Eddard, level 18 on her, level 19 on Athena, 17, 13 going to be the final ones for Sansa, and 15, 16 for Eddard. Bakasura sitting 0-4 and 1 right now. In fact, around the same amount of gold as the 0-3 and 1 on her, and of course the support tank Sobek. So definitely a bit of a loss there overall for Eddard. Across the way, we see the exact same situation. Neith, 8,800 gold, 7,200 gold there for the Bacchus. Bacchus is actually going to be looks about 16,000 or 1,600 gold behind the lowest on the second lowest on his team, and of course about 2,000 gold individually behind the lowest on the enemy team. So Bacchus not getting a whole lot of money, but it's pretty hard when you're a support tank who has to just jump in front of death on a consistent basis while buying wards.
Yeah, it makes life a little bit difficult to keep up on the money, especially when you don't have those money-giving items like the Midas and Watchers, which I'm pretty sure accounts for the majority of Sobek's gold advantage over the Bacchus. Because Bacchus has got an additional assist there. That's a little bit of extra gold. I mean, they've both kind of been roaming around a lot, but that Boots and Watchers gift does so much. Bacchus trying to come in from behind her, seeing what he can do, but Anher's already fallen back to tower. So this 4-man collapse on left isn't really going to find anything but Sobek, who's just going to ult away and say, no, I'm gone. I don't want to play this game anymore. He's just hanging out in the noxious fumes. Just diddling around, deciding what exactly he wants to do with his life. Just walking past Bacchus, not even trading auto attack or anything. Bacchus is going to go in, immediately intoxicate Zhang Kui. Here's the belt. Here comes the burst damage. The Zhang Kui ultimate comes out, and the nuke lays down on Neith. Neith drops immediately. Kali pretty shortly after. Honor going to jump in and make sure he finishes off the Agni, and now Athena is in full retreat right now. Dashes away, able to avoid the Sobek charge spray. She's going to get out of here. Bacchus probably also going to get out, but that's 3 free kills, and now a gold Fury going to Eddard.
Athena looks like she wants to jump in. Bacchus as well. Do they have Hand of the Gods? Looks like Bacchus is tier 3. Not going to get a chance to get in there, though, as the slow comes out. Is it going to be enough? There goes Initiation, slowing him down. Going to try to force him through the Whirlpool. The Exorcism comes on through, and the Tidal Surge right into his butt cheek. So that's going to be a dead Bacchus. Not only did they get gold free, but Bacchus got a little bit too greedy there. Pushed too far forward and got completely caught out. So when we look at the charts yet again, 3,800 gold lead, 2,000 experience lead there for Eddard. This match is proving to be so back and forth.
that last engagement there with 4 kills and a Gold Fury and nothing in response has given them the first major lead of the game. As you can see on that graph, I mean, it's gone back and forth. But this almost 4K gold lead and this 2,000 experience lead is the first time that there's been a solid advantage for either team. This is an advantage that's starting to get to the point where it's big enough. Eddard can use this to try and snowball with. They can try and use this to really leverage the fact that they have got an item advantage and they've got a bit of a level advantage. Not so much the level, but definitely an item advantage with 4,000 gold spread around between the team. That's about half an item per player. So that's enough for them to really push out, really try and leverage this. And if they wanted to force some team fights, they really could. If they catch somebody like this Neath out in the cold like this, they're going to do a lot of damage. On her, just shredding. Desert Fury just rams down her throat, and Neath is going to drop like nothing. Stuff like that can definitely happen right now.
Sobek goes through the tail whip to force them away as Ogdi is kind of obligated to dash away there. I suppose doesn't really want to get caught out by the enemy team and go the way of Neath at this point. 12-12. The kills have been tied up. Of course, the gold is very much in favor of Eddard, and the experience is becoming to the point where it just doesn't matter anymore. Neath and Bacchus are starting to catch up. There goes actually the recall demons coming out from Zhang Kui, throwing out some harassment there on Bacchus as well as the Kali, not getting a whole lot of damage output right now. He's a little bit more utility right now with the Breastplate of Valor, Focus Void Stone, but doesn't have enough damage to carry himself through. We see them pushing out the left side. 5 players still here, but Neath is yet to respawn. 8 seconds left on that respawn. Neath ultimate, Athena ultimate coming through here on the Audi, who dashes forward, lands on top of the Poseidon. Can he get the ultimate before the ultimate comes back off cooldown? They're actually going to kill him before the Kraken comes out. He'll stay inside of his lair. A 1-for-1 exchange. Bacchusura kills off the Agni. Snoopy, man, getting harassed. Picked off here in the jungle. The Frenzy gets popped up by the Kali and canceled immediately. Bacchusura being chased down by the Athena. There's the dash. The reach is not going to land, but the shield wall will end up securing it. Bacchus lands the stun, but Sobek has other plans as the Impale Charge Break combination will stun him and force him forward. So Bacchus will be absolutely fine, surprisingly enough. And here comes Athena. The reach is not going to hit there. There's the Confound shield wall thereafter, and a dead on her. They stuck around a little bit too long. The miscoordination, miscommunication allows Bacchus to live, and on her will die, which of course was not the intention of Eddard.
Yeah, that was really a bad impale coming out from on her, ensuring Bacchus, which looked like it was going to be a pretty guaranteed kill, was able to get away. And now Sansa's going to try to convert this into a Fire Giant. The question is, does Sobek know they're here? I'm pretty sure, yeah, he definitely does. Sobek knows they're around. Sobek has a rank 3 Hand of Gods, but so does Bacchus. Sobek has made his presence known, which may be a mistake. He's given up the game way too early. He showed up, but here comes a teleport in, but the ward gets countered before the teleport can come through. Sobek gave himself up way too early. Just gets shredded down, and is all but guaranteed this Fire Giant is going to go to Sansa, as it does.
A very interesting engagement there. I mean, Sobek, like you saw, we saw the teleport being activated by the Zhang Kui trying to jump in on the Fire Giant. But as it got placed down, it got countered immediately. It was unfortunate enough for them to be able to deal with it. And it looked like, the secondary ward was placed down, and Zhang Kui just didn't reactivate. I don't know what the reason was, or maybe he thought it was going to go and was surprised by the fact that it didn't, or, it was just a little bit disoriented by it. But they did have a secondary ward down there, and maybe he just thought it was too little too late to readjust himself and put himself in a bad situation with Sobek dropping so low so quickly. The Fire Giant will be secured here by Sansa, as well as a kill on the Sobek. However, the Gold Fury will be spawning in 43 seconds. The Fire Giant buff is available to them for 3 minutes and 13 seconds. So about 3 minutes of fame here as they're going to try to push this up and possibly try to win some team fights. Checking back on the charts again, we still have a gold lead for Eddard, a 1,300 experience lead for Sansa. But again, the experience is pretty much non-consequential at this point, and that graph is pretty much meaningless. There goes the exorcism on top of the Harpies here as the move speed gets picked up as well when you push up towards the movement or the blue buff over here. And now they're just kind of grabbing buffs and trying to defend it up. I mean, the tower advantage definitely still goes to Eddard. The left side tower is still picked up, so the fact that they're only ahead by about 2,500 right now, with the fact that the gold is still available and the towers are in favor of them, means that when the towers are evened up, especially with this tier 2 tower, which is worth about 1,400 gold, Sansa can easily take the lead.
This is a very, very even fight right now, indeed. Bacchus trying to get in for some initiation as he belly flops in. Can't quite reach him with his belch, though. Zhang Kui coming around, gonna find everybody but Athena, who's often split push lane and left lane, trying to even up the tower difference. She's gonna go ahead and tower jump and clear off this mini wave and then fight with a Poseidon, who just looks like he's going to blink on through to kill the minion wave. blinking right past Athena before she could engage him, just to make sure that tower didn't go down. Right side, everyone's just disengaging. No one wants to fight right now. Sansa's going to pull back. They don't want to force this. They've got Fire Giant, but a common mistake a lot of people make is they think, I've got Fire Giant. We need to take it. We absolutely have to take a tower right now, even if it means everybody dying. And they get way overzealous and just push way too hard. Sansa's not going to make that mistake. They're being cautious. They're being careful with their Fire Giant. They're pushing towers. They're trying to make things happen, but they're not taking unnecessary risk for it. Newbie shows up in the middle of 3 people right as the tower goes down. Pops his ultimate immediately. Poseidon's up behind him. It looks like Sansa is just going to fall back here, but Honor's coming around. An Impale, and then the Desert Fury coming out. Most of his spear is missing, though. Here's the Bakasura ultimate. Athena's managed to ult away, but Bacchus is not going to be quite as lucky. Bacchus getting torn down, but he looks like he's going to be the only casualty. Meanwhile, Neith is in mid lane, split pushing down another tower.
Cold Fury is available, has respawned. Fire Giant buff is about a minute left on. Of course, we have had a few deaths up until this point. Looks like they're not going to be able to hold on to that in full integrity. Neith now going to the right side of the lane to push this up. The Gold Fury is available. Keep that in mind. So if someone wants to come over and take it, they definitely will have the option to do so. We see Agni checking the Gold Fury. He assumed they were doing it. And look at Neith just running back just in time. Will it be enough to get her away? Looks like she'll be just fine. Unless Sobek can make this flank happen. Neith does there. Actually, landed an Impale there on the angle. Very smart play there. There goes the Boxer, Butcher Blaze, knock off from the tailwind, had the charge prey if entirely necessary, but of course it wasn't this time around, and Neith will lose her life yet again. She's going to be sitting at 1-6-6. Definitely not the greatest performance, but something that is providing a lot of damage to get that tower. It looked like Sobek getting jumped on here inside of the tower range. Frenzy coming through. Bakasura as well as the on her going to fall here. Poseidon pops out the ultimate, but doesn't deter them too much. The Belchagot's not going to land. Sobek falls as well to the Athena. There goes the double kill on top of Poseidon, and now Jean-Quay's by himself. He recalls all the demons he possibly can to rebuild the friends that have fallen down in this team fight, but that is going to be it. Sees him and he popped up both of the beads, but here comes the dash in from Athena, and that is going to be curtains for him. And the situation we're in right now, a 2-for-5 exchange in favor of Sansa. The Fire Giants responding in 50 seconds. They have the map control. They even have enough time to get this tier 2 tower here on the right side and go right for the Fire Giant. And honestly, if they're paying attention to the timers, that's exactly what I would do.
Looks like they're going to collapse in the mid lane and push in and get a guaranteed Phoenix right here is what they want to do. While there's no towers in the way and while the entire team is down, which probably not a terrible decision. Making sure they get a Phoenix, making sure they're going to get that constant fire minion pressure, and then they can fall back and handle taking out a tower or two afterward. But right now, they just want this Phoenix. The problem is, they have 3 magical gods. They don't really have anyone to damage this Phoenix. They have the minion waves finally showing up here, but now Sobek is back. Sobek's going to walk in and hog the wave immediately. And they weren't able to actually get the Phoenix down. The 2 kills that they did pick up, the 2 kills Eddard did get, were the big physical damage dealers, the big structure pushers. The 2 guys that could have helped get that Phoenix down, but with them out, they got nothing for that Dia side.
Yeah, that's why I would much preferred them go to the Fire Giant or get a tier 2 tower on either the left or right side of the map. Is the fact that, you know, like you mentioned, they lost Kali and Neith at the same time. And if you have a tank and you have a jungler and you have your ranged, your mage mid, you're not really able to clear out, you know, those kind of phoenixes very quickly. Now you have the distance from the well, from Eddard's well, to be able to pick out a tower because it takes some time to get there. Of course, they'd have to use a teleport to get there quickly, but of course that means they're wasting 200 gold at this point. You know, it's something that they would have won from, and something they could have benefited, especially with the Fire Giant. I mean, Neith may not have respawned in time to get it, but that's absolutely fine. Neith actually getting attacked by the tower here, as well as the Bakasura. Can Bakasura get it in time? He popped his ultimate, not able to get anything off here, as the Athena comes right down on top of him. She's not going to go in, as Bakasura has already fallen back to his tower. Jungle gank might come out here as Jean-Quay does make the rotation. Poseidon and Sobek making a huge flank right here from above. Might just go straight for the Neith, and looks like that's going to be his cause. Grabs, no, just barely misses there as the issue comes out. Whirlpool's on the ground. Trident comes through. Neith has fallen to the tidal surge as Bakasura chases on through. They want that Kali. They know Kali and Neith are a big portion of their damage. Belly flop comes through. There is going to be Exorcism coming out pretty soon here. The tag is there on the Audi, slowing him down. Dashing forward is Athena. Athena gets another back line kill on a carry there on her. She's been doing it all game long, and they don't seem to have enough protection to keep the carry safe, keep the hunter safe from the Athena with Polynomicon just running right back to the back line, throwing down some shield wall reach combinations, and killing them off immediately. So when it's all said and done, it's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange, hunter for hunter, and now the Gold Fury is being contested.
Looks like Athena took your advice for the exact same build from the last game we watched, except going for a breastplate of valor instead of the wall of absolution. That Jonquil ult just doing so much damage, so much burst coming out from Eddard right now, but it's being met by the burst of Sansa, but it's just not quite enough. It's a 3 for 2. Everybody just dropping 4 for 2 with Bacchus on there. So much damage just got dumped down. That team fight started and ended in about 5 seconds. That's what happened right there. If you factor in the Honor who got taken that 1v1 by Athena earlier, in the grand scheme of things, a 4 for 3, leaving only Neith alive trying to defend, and just Poseidon and Sobek. Poseidon able to take 1 tower off of that. Neith not able to get there in time.
Yeah, a little bit of late rotation there. We didn't have enough damage. You could send them, big explosions and all kinds of damage raining down from all different directions, and it just proved to be too much for Sansa to deal with. So yet again, we said Eddard coming out here. They're going to pull a 2,100 gold lead back from the dead. Still behind in experience, but they're going to pay out with the Fire Giant. If they finish it within the next 10 seconds, Bakasura and Jean-Claude will benefit from this buff, which looks like that will be the time frame available to them. So all 5 players here on Eddard will have the Fire Giant buff, and this may be enough for them to push in, get some towers, the last 2 remaining towers there for Sansa. The teleport's going to come out here. Is it going to be Jean-Claude? It will. I was going to see if it was actually going to be, of course that was a ward front coming out from Eddard, so that would have the teleport available, but of course Kali does have teleport in the same station. Is it the same one? Looks like, yes, it is going to be the exact same one, so they do have the ability to teleport towards. Right side being pushed up here by 4 players from Eddard. Bakasura going to again do this 1v1 situation, and maybe if he forced the Athena ultimate, then make it a 4v3 on the right side of the name. Then look at the burst damage Neith! She just melted right through that Deathbringer, making such a huge difference. The Titan's Bane on top of it, and that right there is why you don't go full attack speed on Bakasura. You still need damage, you still need penetration just like everybody else, and with the Deathbringer addition into the Titan's Bane, made more of a difference than the Fatalis and the Executioner, and Neith absolutely destroyed.
A much more effective build than we saw Bakasura coming out with the last time, not going for just attack speed, bringing the damage. That Deathbringer, just so nasty on Bakasura. His ultimate just critting all over everything, and now Eddard is at Sansa's doorstep, looking for an opportunity to push in and try and take this mid-Phoenix. This is going to be a 5v4 with Neith down. This is going to be a battle. Bacchus jumps in, tries to just kind of zone with the belts. Doesn't actually stun anybody, but tries to keep him out. Here come the meteors. Here comes the burst damage. Khaleesi's in a horrible position right now, and down she goes. Sobek unable to even, or just pushing in there. Bacchus, sorry, unable to even survive there. And now it's just Athena and Agni. Athena forced to dash away. She does not want any piece of this right now. Agni and Athena know they can't take this fight. Neith is back up, but they have all of their damage and no real ability to tank anything. Athena's, I guess, a little bit tanky, but they can't really push in to stop Eddard from taking the rest of these Phoenix. Here comes the Athena ultimate! Not as much burst as they wanted, as it only lands on the Sobek, and now Agni's gonna die for his crime. Athena's probably not gonna make it out of here alive, and down she goes. It's left up to just Neith. The surrender vote comes out. This is gonna be the Minotaur.
And he will end up falling down here in the base, and then it will be the first game going to Eddard in spectacular fashion. So that will be the final wrap up there. Of course, it's a best of 3 tournament finals here, so we're going to see them going into game 2 pretty soon here. Looking at the overall numbers, let's go and check out how things turned out. 23,000 damage done by Poseidon, 36,000 damage done by Zhang Kuei. We also have 14,000 on 115,000 on Boxer across the way. We have 22,000 on the Agni, 23,000 just under, 24 for the Kali, and of course 26,000 from the Athena. So overall, I mean, it's a pretty good damage split. Everyone was around the same numbers, minus Zhang Kuei, of course, who was far and away the most in the game, 36,000 damage to himself. His ultimate, Recall Demons, did about 4,200 healing to friendly heroes, friendly gods there, something that he can protect with himself. Definitely a big team fight ultimate. 7-5 and 15 when it's all said and done there for the Zhang Kuei. 7-4 and 14 there for the Poseidon as well. 7-6 and 6 on the Honor. Not really part of the big fights, but it does happen a lot, especially when you get picked off by Athena. And Athena just zoned him out day and night. I felt so terrible for Mr. Prodigy V on Honor, who just had Athena glue stuck to him like Velcro and just could not get her off him, as did zone him out during the team fights. But of course that meant that Athena wasn't there either, so you know, you put that in a 4v4 situation. It seemed like Eddard had the advantage, and as we can see when the final votes are tallied here, it's going to come out to be an Eddard victory versus Sansa in Game 1 of this best-of-3 Grand Finals.
Definitely a great fight there. I mean, it was so back and forth, and I'm sure this is setting up to have a fantastic second match, as this match could have gone either direction at pretty much any time up until the end there, when Eddard got that final big wipe and managed to take those last couple Phoenixes. Just the lead, ping-ponged everywhere. Sansa taking an early fire giant, trying to push down some towers with it, but at the end of the day, just a little bit more coordination from Sansa, or from Eddard. Eddard was able to focus and take down the squishy targets. Kali, late game, can't really do a whole lot with a build that doesn't give her any defense like that. As you saw, every late game fight, Kali would show up and just get exploded immediately. Whenever she tried to do anything, just exploded. She is an incredibly squishy carry that, while she does lots and lots of damage, doesn't have any sort of escapes or CCs to try and protect herself with. If she gets close, she just gets destroyed. The Neath, without any sort of protections, is kind of in the same boat. They knew who to focus, they knew who to tear down, they knew who the incredibly squishy targets were, and even through Neath's backflip, I mean, that's only so much. When you have a Sobek charge that can follow it up immediately, when you have cripples coming down from Poseidon and Bakasura, they've got such a good way to lock them down, and suddenly you have a 5v3 situation, and Eddard can just go in there and smash face.
I mean, we saw that time and time again, and we went back and forth, and we don't have access to the graphs here, but something that's important to keep track of is the fact that, I mean, overall, some incredible plays came out from both teams. It was very back and forth, like you mentioned. It was up and down all over the place on the graphs, and I mean, Sansa proven themselves, but overall, they didn't have the teamfight presence that Eddard had, and the rotations came out just at the right time, even though everyone who was playing through here had a lot of skill and talent and placement. Eddard is going to win out in Game 1. A bit of an update there. It looks like we do have a third place winner. It's going to be Caitlyn from the previous match you just watched in the semifinal round. So they will win 1,000 gems for their team, 200 gems each, just for participating today without even having a team, just signing up by themselves and being assigned randomly to a team of cool guys and gals competing in a tournament, getting tournament experience, and then getting gems paid out towards the end. So definitely congratulations to Caitlyn for third place on their victory. We're going to cut to a brief break and talk with the players to see if they're ready to go into Game 2, which I'm sure they're raring to go, and they're definitely excited to move into Game 2 to see if they can actually, if you're Eddard, win the game and close it out 2-0, or if you're Sansa, win the game and push it to Game 3 and see if they can't compete to get 4,000 gem prize. It's going to be a big competition, and certainly something that's been proven to be very exciting, as the first matchup was back and forth. Look at the total numbers here. We're going to see 26-25 was the final score there for Eddard, so a 1 kill differential. It's a very close match, a very, very good game, and we're going to see that in Game 2. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for sticking through. We'll see you soon. You're clear.
Dude, if Sansa didn't have fucking internet...
Yeah, they're raring to go right now. So, shall we say start at quarter 2? Or do you want a longer break?
I'll go and ready.
Okay, we'll start at quarter 2. If you want to play the Hodor bid, that would be awesome.
A quarter 2? Isn't that in 1 minute?
Okay, shall we say 10-2 then?
No, I mean, that's fine, but why would I play a video with 1 minute left?
Fair enough. It was just like, give them at least a bit of a break. Or give you and Squid at least
a bit of a break.
Oh, no, we're fine.
Just tell them to do their due.
Okay. Alright, yeah, so in a minute I'll get
This game, do you need to be set up?
I'm gonna start it at quarter 2.
Okay, if you already talked, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it when people try to dictate the stream.
What do you mean?
It happens all the time. Admins always try to do it, and they're always terrible at it.
What do you mean? What are they doing?
Like, you should play a video, we should stream this game because the stream's really good, we should do that. Shut up!
Shut up!
Demon Machine and Blake do it all the time. They've stopped doing it now because I keep shutting them down. They're like, let's do a round 1 match between these two teams no one's ever heard of. No. Let's not do that. That sounds like a big waste of everyone's 80 minutes. You know? Like, motherfucker. And he's like, let's start in a minute. You can play a Hodor video. And it's like, why would I play a video if we're starting in a minute? Question mark.